Dear travellers and welcome. Today we have a shootout, but I use the term very loosely, and while I explain it to you, please enjoy my reimagination of the Three Ninjas kickback poster, carefully adapted to embody today's shootout. So yeah, I'm not going to get technical in this video, this is more of a hands-on review. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen the other videos I've made about these cameras, I'd suggest you watch them first to get a bit more of an idea about these cameras. It's safe to say that they're all roughly the same age and have the same megapixels, but that's about where the similarities end. Except of course they all have viewfinders, hot shoes, flashes, macro and full manual mode, zoom lenses, top screens, CCD sensors, and have predominantly metal bodies. But that's about it. So let's break down a few categories and see how these cameras differ. Starting with rear displays. The Olympus C5060 and Canon G2 both have 270 degree rotating screens, which do come in handy. The Panasonic's LC5 has a fixed screen. However, out of all the screens, the Panasonic has the biggest and brightest, followed by the Olympus, and the Canon is in last place with the most pitiful excuse for a screen. Now let's look at the memory cards. The Panasonic takes SD cards, maxing out at around 2GB. The Canon takes CF cards, also maxing out around the 2GB. I think it might be able to handle 4GB, but don't quote me on that. And the Olympus takes CF, XD and microdrive cards, so it's the clear winner when it comes to versatility. As far as capacity, I'm unsure, but I'm using a 512 XD card at the moment. Top screen. The Panasonic and Canon are almost identical. The Olympus is half the size of the other two, but somehow is more useful in my opinion. The Olympus and Canon both have 10 or more shooting modes with inbuilt black and white, sepia, etc. settings. The Panasonic however only has 6 settings and no black and white modes. Sad. Canon shoots RAW and JPEG, Olympus shoots JPEG, TIFF, RAW, EXIF 2.2 support, print image matching 2 support, DPOF support. Panasonic shoots TIFF or JPEG. So I think Olympus takes that one as well. Lenses. Can I just say here that all three cameras have beautiful lenses, and I wouldn't say that anyone is lacking. The Canon and Panasonic are loaded with a very similar lens ranging from 34mm to 103mm equivalent, and have fast f2.0 to f2.5s at the tele end, which is quite impressive. There is also speculations that they are the same lens, but I'm not 100% sure, and I like telling myself I have a Leica lens. The Olympus on the other hand has a 27mm to 110 equivalent lens with an f2.8 to an f4.8 at the tele lens. So not as fast as the other two, but has a wider 27mm and a longer zoom at 110. Sensors. So as I said before, all cameras are CCD sensors. The Canon and Panasonic have 4 megapixel sensors, and the Olympus has a 5.1 megapixel sensor. And if I'm honest, you can see in the images that the Olympus has slightly better resolution, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so how are we going? Are you leaning towards any particular camera? Let's look at the ergonomics and design. Straight out of the gate, the Panasonic is worlds apart from the rest. It looks like a camera and feels like a camera. The quality is a lot higher than the others, and the grip is nicer. Definitely and easily first place for the Panasonic. Second would be the Olympus. It's also very solid and feels like a quality camera, but the shape is a bit odd. It doesn't feel like a camera. It almost has a camcorder vibe to it, especially when you have the screen out. It is comfortable in the hand, but yeah, it just looks odd. The Canon is dead last, as its body and grip feels like it's come out of a Happy Meal. The viewfinders and flashes are all about the same, nothing to write home about. So I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of where these cameras stand. Now let's have a look at some photos to compare, and I'll give you my thoughts. So now I want to give you my honest thoughts about these three cameras, and the most important thing is that they're all great cameras. I'll be keeping all of them. They all have different strengths and are suited to different situations. The Olympus is a straight out beast of a camera and performs all tasks well. If I had a wedding to shoot or something important and I could only choose out of these cameras, then I would take the Olympus every time. This thing gives my Fuji X100 a run for its money. The Canon has the classic Canon colours and vibes. It's light, has very simple operations, and the images almost look like paintings. I believe that if you take the time with this camera, then you can achieve stunning results. Now the Panasonic. Although its images aren't as good as the other two, I don't think it's a deal breaker. It just needs a little post work and they'll be good to go. Using this camera is enjoyable. I compare the feel of it with a Fuji X100. It's almost that good. It feels and looks amazing and can achieve good results. If it was possible to get the features of the Canon and Olympus inside the Panasonic body, then you would have an unbeatable camera. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you really enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like these cameras? Was there one that stood out to you? Have you got any of them? And as always, catch you on the next one.